cause, a principle, aim, or movement that because of a deep commitment, one is prepared to defend or advocate. Karibu. Karibu is a Kiswahili word that means welcome. Welcome, you found yourself in a peaceful place, a place where you can grow and develop, and we hope grow and develop to your fullest potential. This is a podcast that we hope will expand your mind and raise your consciousness. Welcome to The Cause, conversations on music, history, and democracy. As we move in this transition from the old age into the new, we will have to rise up in protest. We will have to boycott at times. But let us always remember that boycotts are not ends within themselves. A boycott is just a means to an end. A boycott is merely a means to say, I don't like it. It is merely a means to awaken a sense of shame within the oppressor. But the end is reconciliation. The end is the creation of a beloved community. The end is the creation of a society where men and women will live together as brothers and sisters. An end is not retaliation, but redemption. That is the end we are trying to reach. That we would bring these creative forces together. We would be able to live in this new age, which is destined to come. The old order is dying, and the new order is being born. Martin Luther King, The Birth of a New Age. An address delivered on August the 11th, 1956, at the 50th anniversary of Alpha Phi Alpha in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to The Cause, conversations on music, history, and democracy. I'm Dr. Reiland Rabaka, and today we're journeying into one of the most powerful moral visions of the modern world, Martin Luther King's conception of the beloved community. This is the first of a two-part series on the beloved community. It's almost as if we are about to do beloved community studies over the next two episodes. The beloved community is not a slogan. It is not a sentimental wish. It is a disciplined dream, rooted in history, sharpened by struggle, and sustained by love with a backbone. It is King's name for a world where justice is not episodic, where peace is not merely the absence of conflict, where democracy is not reduced to procedure, but elevated to a moral practice. In our time, marked by polarization, inequality, ecological crisis, and a dangerous narrowing of empathy, the beloved community remains a compass. It asks us not only what we are against, but what we are for. It insists that liberation without love is incomplete, and that love without justice is hollow. Today's episode unfolds in three movements. Sometimes I feel like Duke Ellington, writing these little suites, these little musical texts. Today's episode unfolds in three movements. First, we explore the origins of the beloved community and King's conception of it. Second, we examine how King used this vision to bring together people across lines of race, class, religion, and politics. Third, we ask why building on this vision is not optional but essential in the 21st century. This is a conversation about history and democracy. Yes, but also this is a conversation about music, about movement, and about moral imagination, about how we get free together. Welcome to a window into a whole nother world, a world where we build the beloved community. Welcome to the cause. Part 1. The phrase beloved community did not originate with Martin Luther King. Its roots reach back to early 20th century social thought, particularly the work of the philosopher and theologian Josiah Royce. For Royce, the beloved community described an ethical ideal, a community bound together not by coercion or conformity, but by loyalty, truth, and shared moral purpose. It was an answer to fragmentation, a vision of human solidarity grounded in conscience. King encountered this idea during his graduate studies, but he did not merely adopt it. He transformed it. He infused the concept with the Black freedom struggle, the Black church tradition, and the prophetic fire of the social gospel. Through King, the beloved community became flesh and blood, something real. King's theological imagination was shaped by a chorus of influences: the nonviolent philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, the Christian personalism he studied at Boston University, and the Black prophetic tradition stretching from the spirituals to the sermons of enslaved and formerly enslaved preachers. For King, the beloved community was the social embodiment of agape, unconditional love seeking the good of all. But this love is not passive. It is confrontational. King insisted that love must organize against injustice. The beloved community, in his conception, could not be built on top of exploitation, racial segregation, or poverty. It required structural transformation. This is why King repeatedly emphasized that racism, militarism, and economic exploitation were interconnected evils. The beloved community was his antidote, a society grounded in justice, equal opportunity, and the dignity of every human being. In this sense, the beloved community is eschatological without being escapist. It gestures toward a future while demanding action in the present. It lives in the not yet, but it works in the right now. Part 2. To understand Martin Luther King's beloved community, we must understand his commitment to nonviolence, not as tactic alone, but as a way of life. Nonviolence for King was a method of building community even in the midst of conflict. It sought not the humiliation of the opponent, but their transformation. Not the defeat of an enemy, but the creation of a friend. King believed that injustice deforms everyone it touches, those who suffer it and those who benefit from it. The beloved community emerges when we refuse to mirror hatred with hatred and instead confront injustice with disciplined love. This is not naive optimism. King knew the cost. He faced imprisonment, surveillance, threats, and ultimately assassination. Yet, he remained convinced that violence multiplies violence, while love has the capacity to break the cycle. In the beloved community, justice is restorative, not retributive. It seeks to heal relationships while repairing harm. It insists that reconciliation must be grounded in truth and that peace without justice is merely a pause in oppression. King's speeches and writings are filled with this insistence. In his classic book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, he framed the beloved community as the only viable alternative to social disintegration. The question was not whether America would change, but how, and toward what moral horizon. Part 3. One of the most radical dimensions of King's vision of the beloved community is its inclusivity. The beloved community was never meant to be racially exclusive, religiously narrow, or politically sectarian. King built coalitions across difference, not by erasing identity, but by honoring it within a shared struggle for justice. He worked with Jewish leaders, Catholic priests, Protestant ministers, Muslim activists, labor organizers, and secular radicals. He understood that no single community could dismantle systemic injustice alone. Only together can we topple the oppression, the exploitation, and the violence that we are enduring daily. This commitment reached its fullest expression in the Poor People's Campaign, where Dr. King sought to unite poor and working class people across racial lines, Black, white, Latinx, and indigenous folk around economic injustice, to unite them around economic injustice. This was a dangerous vision. It threatened the very foundations of racial capitalism. Music played a crucial role in coalition building. Freedom songs, rooted in the Black spiritual tradition, became shared anthems.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome transformed private pain into collective resolve. Gospel music, blues, and later soul articulated a language of suffering and hope that crossed boundaries words alone could not. In other words, we could often sing what we could not say. And that's ironic, because in this country, we're supposed to have freedom of speech. The beloved community was not only argued, it was sung, marched, prayed, and lived.
Are you ready to dive deep into the rich histories, cultures, and arts of Africa and the African diaspora? At the Center for African and African American Studies, affectionately known as The Cause, we're leading the way in research, arts, and student engagement at the University of Colorado, Boulder. The Cause is more than just a research center. It's a space where students, faculty, artists, allies, and activists come together to explore African and African American experiences, from historical legacies to modern cultural expressions. And at the heart of it all, our students, playing a central role in everything we do. They're the future of this important cultural legacy, working side by side with faculty on groundbreaking projects and events that impact not just the campus, but the community and wider world. Research projects and events that impact not just our beloved CU campus, but the community and world at large.
Our mission? To foster academic excellence, social responsibility, and artistic expression, with programs that inspire leadership and advocacy for social justice. Whether you're interested in visual arts, music, or deepening your understanding of African American culture, The Cause is the place for you.
But we can't do it alone. The Cause relies on the generous support of our community to continue making a difference. By giving to the Center for African and African American Studies, you help us expand research, create opportunities for artists, support our students, and drive meaningful social change. And right now, your gift will go even further. All donations will be matched by CU Boulder Chancellor Justin Swartz for up to $1 million or until May 30th, 2026. To make your impact today, visit colorado.edu/center/cause and click on Support the Cause. Every contribution, large or small, brings us closer to a future of unity, knowledge, and transformation.
So, if you're looking for a community where history, culture, and creativity converge, visit the Center for African and African American Studies at CU Boulder. Come join The Cause and be a part of a movement for unity, knowledge, and social change.
Learn more and give today at colorado.edu/center/cause. We can't wait to welcome you to The Cause.
Part 4. Culture has always been central to movements for justice. Martin Luther King understood that art shapes moral imagination. The spirituals encoded resistance. Gospel music sustained courage. Jazz modeled improvisational democracy, listening, responding, and creating together. Later, soul music would give voice to the tensions between integration and self-determination, between love and rage. Artists such as Nina Simone, Sam Cooke, and Curtis Mayfield translated the ethos of the beloved community into sound, sometimes affirming it, sometimes interrogating it, but always expanding it. Simone's music reminds us that love without justice can become an insult. Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come" captures the aching hope of a people on the brink. Mayfield's work insists that consciousness must lead to action. These cultural expressions keep Dr. King's vision alive, not as static memory, but as living critique. So powerful when we think about it. Martin Luther King understood that art shapes moral imagination. Why does the beloved community matter now? That is the question after listening to all of the foregoing, everything that you have heard up until this point. The key question at the top of your mind, on the tip of your tongue, has got to be, why does the beloved community matter now? And my response? because we are living amid overlapping crises, racial injustice, economic inequality, climate catastrophe, democratic erosion, and global displacement. These crises expose the limits of individualism and the urgency of solidarity. We need community and solidarity now more than ever before. The beloved community challenges us to resist the politics of division. It calls us to build coalitions across race, class, gender, sexuality, religion, and nationality, not by denying difference, but by organizing around shared humanity and our shared fate. Here is where I say once again, I invoke the powerful philosophy of the Zulu of South Africa. Ubuntu. Ubuntu. I am because we are. Let's rescue and reclaim our humanity and build a new society together. Ubuntu. Movements for racial justice, climate justice, gender justice, and economic democracy are already echoing King's vision of the beloved community, sometimes explicitly, sometimes implicitly. When activists insist that none of us are free until all of us are free, they are speaking the language of the beloved community. Indeed, they are speaking the love language of the beloved community. Yet, King's vision also confronts us. It demands discipline, patience, courage, and sacrifice. It asks us to practice democracy daily, not just vote, but listen, not just protest, but build, not just critique, but care. Right here, I want to go back. I want to go back to that part where earlier I emphasized that Martin Luther King understood that art shapes moral imagination. And in that sense, in that spirit, I'd like to share a poem. I mean, this is one of the reasons for me, poetry is just as powerful and meaningful as writing a academic journal article or a book chapter or even a book. I think it's important for us to be multimedia, to be intertextual, to be able to be polyvocal. That means speak in lots of different voices in the hopes that we can reach many different audiences. And so with that in mind, I'd like to share this poem with you. This is brand new. Just finished writing this. I've been writing this over the last, I think, several weeks. This is called "The Beloved Community is Unfinished Because We Are Unfinished." The beloved community is unfinished because we are unfinished. It is not waiting for saints. It is waiting for participants, for people willing to practice love as a public ethic, to make care contagious, to turn survival into solidarity. If we speak it carefully, the word beloved does not float away. It lands. It asks us to become what we keep invoking. We begin where the voice learns to carry more than a single throat, where the word we stops being a rumor and starts asking for labor. Not the soft we of speeches that float above the street, but the heavy we, mud on its cups, names in its mouth, breath broken and remade. Beloved is never a feeling. It is a practice. a way of walking through fire without becoming fire, a way of touching the wound without claiming ownership of the pain. Beloved means you don't get to be free by yourself. Beloved means love is not a lullaby, it is a discipline. We learned it in lines, not verses first, but lines of bodies moving against fear, lines that bent around dogs and water hoses, that hummed when the jail doors closed, that turned hymns into armor and sorrow into fuel. We learned it by singing until the song learned us back. Whew. There were days when love felt like a raised fist with an open palm inside. Days when love tasted like rage tempered into purpose, because tenderness without teeth doesn't survive the night, and anger without vision burns the house you're trying to build. The beloved community asks us to hold contradiction without flinching, to tell the truth and still reach for each other, to demand justice without surrendering mercy, to name violence and refuse to become its echo. The beloved community says, transform the enemy. Don't trade places with him. This is never about harmony without struggle. It is about listening hard enough to hear what history has hidden, about knowing that silence can be a weapon and speech can be a shelter, about learning when to shout and when to whisper into the ear of the future. Beloved means crossing lines without erasing them. Black hands, brown hands, red hands, white hands, hands scarred by work, hands softened by privilege, hands shaking with grief. All of them asking to learn a new choreography. Not sameness, but commitment. Not charity, but shared risk. The dream is not naive. It knows the math of hunger, the grammar of prisons, the weather of war. It speaks against bombs falling on children whose names we never learned to pronounce. It says the poor are not a problem to be managed, but a mirror we keep breaking, a high note or a low note we cannot hit. Beloved demands that we imagine structures that do not feed on despair, schools that teach dignity, streets that do not stalk their own residents, economies that do not ask somebodies to disappear so others can shine. It says democracy is not an event, but a habit, one you practice even when it costs you comfort. Some nights, the vision is trembled. Some mornings, it felt impossible. There were funerals when the dream stood in the corner, quiet, blood on its shoes. But it did not leave. It waited. It kept asking whether we would confuse memory with completion, whether we would let monuments replace the movement. Now the question returns, wearing new clothes, speaking in the language of algorithm and borders, smog and sirens, screens and empty ballots. Beloved is not offended by time. It adapts. It asks, how wide is your circle? Who gets counted as human when the resources run thin? The answer is not purity. It is persistence. It is choosing each other again and again, even when we failed the test we designed. It is building rooms large enough for grief and laughter to coexist. It is loving without illusion, fighting without hatred, hoping without anesthesia. The beloved community is unfinished because we are unfinished. It is not waiting for saints. It is waiting for participants, for people willing to practice love as a public ethic, to make care contagious, to turn survival into solidarity. If we speak it carefully, the word beloved does not float away. It lands. It asks us to become what we keep invoking. And that is the work of us, the work of becoming, of building the beloved community. Whew. I just wonder if y'all feel as beautiful and peaceful and loving kind and compassionate as I do right now. Wow. Yeah, brand new. Brand new poem. The beloved community is unfinished because we are unfinished. Yeah. So it's time to close out. We've had a beautiful experience. And as is my custom, I'd like to close with a call to action about doing the work of love. Yeah. Sometimes love requires maintenance and sustenance. I hope you can hear me. Sometimes love, real love, enables us to repair relationships. Love is a healer. Woo. Let me close with this. The beloved community is not inevitable. It must be built, brick by brick, relationship by relationship, struggle by struggle. It is built when we choose justice over convenience, truth over comfort, love over fear. Martin Luther King reminded us that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, but only when people bend it. The beloved community is the work of our hearts and hands. We've got to do more than set intention. We need action right here, right now. More than setting intentions, we need thoughtful, progressive, positive action. In classrooms and concert halls, sanctuaries and streets, kitchens and community centers, this work continues. When we organize for living wages, when we defend democracy, when we protect the planet, when we refuse to surrender empathy, we are participating in the unfinished project of building the beloved community Martin Luther King began during the civil rights movement. The beloved community is not behind us. It is in front of us. It serves as an entry point, incubator, and anchor for community members and social organizations that would like to serve as ambassadors and embassies for the new humanity, new community, and new society we seek to bring into being. And the question is not whether we can imagine it, but whether we will commit to it, commit to becoming the beloved community. Please check out the companion playlist I created to serve as a sort of soundtrack for building the beloved community. I'm trying to inspire you This is about inspiration and motivation, and I hope it goes year round, not just in January during Martin Luther King Day, but all year round. We should be building. We should be becoming the beloved community. Thank you for listening to The Cause, conversations on music, history, and democracy. Until next time, keep struggling, keep loving, and keep building the beloved community.
Thank you for joining us for The Cause podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka. For your letters, questions, and suggestions regarding the podcast, email us thecause@gmail.com. CAAAS. The Cause podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka is produced and edited by John Arnold and is a production of the Center for African and African American Studies, The Cause, at the University of Colorado Boulder. For more information, visit us online at colorado.edu/center/cause. CAAAS.
Class is in session, so come and get your lesson. Ooh, The Cause podcast. I love that. Do you love that?